Hello again, and welcome to Webology Learn for Good. This is Aakash Biswas, and let's get started with the first tutorial on JavaScript. This tutorial will teach you the basics of JavaScript and what you need to know in order to get started in coding and programming in JavaScript. So, if you want to be a JavaScript coder and want to make websites with JavaScript, you need to know HTML. Okay, there's no point in just learning JavaScript because JavaScript is applied with HTML. It's used along with HTML. So I recommend you to learn HTML first and then learn JavaScript. And if you have learned HTML, then don't worry, JavaScript will be very easy. And also, if you have learned any previous programming language like C or C++, the same concepts will be applied here, like variables, constant, functions, arrays, etc. And so let's get started. So JavaScript was invented by Brendan Eich. I hope I get the pronunciation right. Okay, in 1995. JS is a short name for JavaScript. So in this tutorial, I'm going to often refer to JavaScript as JS. Okay, because JS is a short form of JavaScript. So JavaScript is used to program the behavior of web pages. So like if you have HTML, which is used to put the presentation, the content of the web page, JavaScript is used to put the behavior. So on many websites when you visit, you'll have a button, say click here to buy this. It'll be a short button with a description, and then you can click on that button and it'll open, a pop-up will open or something will happen. So on click method or something they'll use, which we are going to learn later, and that creates an event, a function. So that is why JavaScript is used to as the behavior of the web. So it makes your website dynamic. Unlike HTML, which is just plain text website, JavaScript makes your website dynamic, and that's why you have to learn JavaScript. And you can use JavaScript, as I said, along with HTML and CSS. JavaScript is not Java, so remember that. JavaScript is not Java, though the name is pretty similar. Many people think that learning Java will learn JavaScript. No. Or learning JavaScript will learn Java as well. No. JavaScript and Java are different. And JavaScript is a dynamic type language, which means you can create events, you can create functions. It's a dynamic language, okay, which we are going to look at in a short while. So here I have, you can put JavaScript in a HTML code. And if you're going to put it inside HTML code, it must be between the script tags, the opening and the closing script tags. And so here is an example. As you can see, I've opened. So the script tag must come in the head section or in the body section. It can be both, but I prefer in the head section. For some purposes, we have to put it in the body section. And JavaScript code can be placed in the body section as well. So here is an example. So JavaScript can be placed in an external file as well. Okay, so you can have, like in CSS, you can have internal CSS, embedded CSS, and external CSS. In JavaScript as well, you can have, I don't know if it's right to say, internal JavaScript code as well as external scripts. A file, you create just a JavaScript file, put all your code and put a link to your HTML document. And this is useful when you have a one-page website and you use the same code, the same script for all the web pages. Okay, so it becomes very useful to have just one external file and you link that file to all your web pages. Okay, so here is the example. You have to use the script element along with the source src attribute. Okay, then here will be the link, the file name. So in JavaScript you can display data, that is output, in different ways. So you can write JavaScript using inner HTML, or you can write JavaScript output using document.write function, or you can write JavaScript as an alert box using the window alert function or method, and you can write JavaScript in the browser console using console.log function. Okay, now it's the time to get our hands dirty with JavaScript programming. Okay, so now we are going to code in JavaScript. So here, as you can see, I have the basic HTML code. So this is the code in HTML, and now I'm going to add my JavaScript code in here. So as I told you earlier, I can add JavaScript either in the head section or in the body section, and there are 4 ways to output data, and we are going to look at each of them separately. And we can also add a external JavaScript file to your code. So first we'll do that. Okay, so in order to do that, we need to create a separate file with the JavaScript code, and then we'll create a link to the main document. Okay, so I'll just open this. This is the folder we have saved the JavaScript document. Okay, so I'll open Notepad again, and here I'm going to add the JavaScript code. So just a warning, when you're using external JavaScript files, you cannot put the script element. Okay, so don't do that. And when you save your external file, you should have the .js extension that we have seen earlier. Okay, so just going to create a short file. Now I'll save this. I'll put it in the same location. Okay, I can put any name I want. Say, just put JS1 with the .js extension. So this is very, very important. If you don't put the right extension, nothing will work. Now I close this. And in the head section, I'm going to create a link to this external JavaScript. So as you can see, you have to put the script element, then followed by the source attribute, and then the name of the file. So for me, usually when I use external JavaScript or external CSS files, I always keep it in the same folder, and I don't create another subfolder, because if I create another subfolder, a folder within a folder for placing all the external files, I have to put the entire path name. So if you have a folder, so I have a folder called learn JavaScript, and within that I can have a folder for external JavaScript files, and I save the external JavaScript file in that folder. But now when I'm going to put a link, I have to put the entire name. I have to put learn JavaScript colon external JavaScript file, then colon, then js1.js. Okay, so it becomes very big. So I simplify things, and that's how I do it. Okay. I'll save this, and now I refresh. Hopefully everything will go fine. Okay, so what just happened? I use the window.alert method function to output data. and that was in the external file. Okay, so there's no code in the main document, but I put a link. Okay, and this is what happened, and we are going to look at this a little later. And then I love JavaScript is always here because of h1. Okay, so as I told you, there are 4 methods of outputting data, and we'll see each of them separately. So I'll just delete this and let this be, and we get our hands dirty. So the first element that we're going to use, method that we're going to use, is innerHTML, and this is used a lot in programming, in web designing and web development. And say you want to access an HTML element, say P or h1, you can use the document.getElementById method in order to do that. Okay, so let's go ahead and create our first JavaScript in the body section. So here I have a P element with ID. So this is very important. You need to have an ID, say A. Okay. Now say I want to put a block of text in P, but I don't have a text, but I'm going to do that with JavaScript. So let's see how we can do that. So this you should understand. This we are going to look later. Document get element by ID. Okay, make sure to write it correctly. Document.get element. I don't know why JavaScript has this very weird way of code layout. They have certain functions, name, keywords which are in capital letters, in lowercase, in caps. I really don't understand why, but JavaScript is JavaScript. You can look online and find an explanation, but I don't know. Now this is very important, ID. So this ID should match the ID that you have assigned. Okay. Then we're going to use the inner method, innerHTML. Again, innerHTML should be in caps, HTML should be in caps. Equals. Now I can assign a string. Okay. In braces, say hello world. I'll close this, and make sure to always close the script tag. Okay, I'll save. Hopefully everything has gone fine. As you can see over here, hello world has come. Okay, if I zoom in, this is the h1 element and this is the p element. Okay, I'll just zoom out. Similarly, I can also have display numbers. I can also do addition. Say I want to do 4 plus 4. I also do that. See. Okay. The next output method is document.write, and this is mainly used for testing purposes. Say you're debugging a very large chunk of code, and you can use document.write in order to test your code. So I'll just delete this, and I'm going to put the script, the JavaScript, in the head section. Now you can put either text, say hello friends, and make sure to always put this semicolon at the end. Okay, a lot of tutorials don't recommend to always put, but I do, because your compiler may not, your browser may not read your code. Okay, and it's a good habit to put semicolons. So this hello friends has come on top of I love JavaScript because this is in the head section. This will be displayed on top. Now similarly, I can display here numbers as well. It's 8. And also we can do arithmetic, so we can do 8 plus 9, and let's see what happens. Okay, so we have a pretty useful browser that gives us right answers. And next we're going to look at the window.alert function. I'll save this and say you can see what happens, and you can read on your own about the window.alert function, and I'll click OK, and JavaScript is displayed. And lastly, we are going to use again we can use console.log as well. So this is also used for debugging purposes. Save. Oh, nothing happened. Did I do something wrong? Let's have a look at the code. So if I press F12 in Firefox, it will display the code. Okay. So as you can see, console, here you can see A. Okay. Now similarly, if I change this value, say to B, and save it and refresh, change the value to B. So this is very an important aspect in HTML coding. You need to know how to even use the browser for debugging purposes. And a lot of programmers and coders use an inbuilt editor as well to make the web pages or websites functional. You can use Notepad or Dreamweaver or Active Komodo, etc. But for debugging purposes, you can use this inbuilt thing as well. So different browsers will have different functionalities, but all of them have. So this in F12 in JavaScript, you can press F12 and you get over here. So, and also here you can see this cursor blinking. I can also give commands from here. So I can put window.alert A and save, and see, this is what happens. I can also give commands from the browser as well. So that's yeah, that's it. So make sure as usual to like, comment, share and subscribe, and thanks for watching.